Hey guys, Teacher Sarah here. I have been a Vipkid teacher for 11 months, almost 12 months, so I finally feel comfortable sharing with you all of my tips and tricks for how to be a great ESL online teacher. So let's just jump into those tips real quick. Sorry, I'm also 7 months pregnant, so it's really hard for me to talk so much without getting winded. So if you hear me breathing a lot, that's why. Okay. Number one, don't worry too much about your background because it will evolve over time. This is not the background that I started with. Basically, if you're just starting out, you're just doing your mock class, you don't need to have that crazy of a background. I had so many things on this wall that it was just so busy, and I barely even used any of them. This United States of America, I had one of the whole world like up here on the wall. When I did use it, I would have to be like, oh, do you see? Like, can you see? You know, it is important to have like a kid-friendly atmosphere, but you really don't need to go overboard. Basically, when I started out, I had Teacher Sarah, I had my reward system, which was like a fishbowl. Here, I have it right here. This is a fishbowl. Like I had this on the wall like this, and I would add the fish. Oh, and then I had some children's book wall decals, which just had like little animals, butterflies, balloons. You know, once you do about 6 to 8 months worth of teaching, you know, you can invest in something like this. This really wasn't that expensive. It was about $30. And then I think I got free shipping with a code at Vistaprint. Don't feel like you need to spend so much money doing your whole background space or even your props. That should be another tip, is don't spend money that you would be making teaching on this until you're like really invested in the job and you actually know that you want to continue with it. Number two, do not spend money that does not need to be spent. I know a lot of teachers, you know, they love to go all out with their props, but really what you have in your house is going to be the best. We call it realia, and that's what they like to see. For instance, I have like, oh, you can see that there the whole time, can't you? Whenever there's a slide about flowers, I usually just take this out and like kind of hold it against me and be like, flowers, huh? So, you know, they like to see that. They like to see how you're incorporating stuff that you already have into your teaching. The best thing you could buy, in my opinion, in terms of props would be a printer. And that is because I have printed out 90% of my props, just like copy pasting from Google. All of these things I printed out. You know, here's a bicycle, a roller coaster, you know, a family. If you had basketball, you could just use the basketball. Where's my hat? I've been looking for that hat. Where did I put that hat? Of course I don't have it right now. Which I usually fall off my head and I'm like, ha, funny hat. Stick props, here's Mike, here's Meg, a plane, a cheetah, you know, a turtle, Statue of Liberty. These are skewers, like, what's that called? Kebab skewers that I literally just had from the one time I made kebabs. So these are all in a little cup right on my desk. It's better for once like a plane, like sort of like that. Like that's to show what a plane does, so you can see that. The only downside to printing this stuff is that you eventually will run out of ink. And that can get expensive, replacing color ink, black ink, what have you. The good thing about that is when you do file your taxes, you can write that off. I bought color and black ink, and that was about $100 worth of expenses right there. Like this is all of my like miscellaneous stuff. Here is like the Earth and the Moon and monuments in China like the Forbidden City and the Great Wall, and then I have like the sun and rainy and cloudy. Here is an old makeup brush that I don't like. So I use this for painting. Like, oh, we're painting, even though this is literally a makeup brush. Something my students absolutely love, especially when they're young, is like they love to see stars. So when like you get a star, look, a star for Kevin. And you know, then I hold them up. Oh, 2 stars, 2 stars. The huge part of the teaching is extension. And especially when you're doing your mock class, you want to find as many opportunities to extend as you possibly can. And then I would say, oh, what color is your star? My star is blue. You know, as you get into higher levels, they obviously want more intricate extension, but I only do 2, 3, and 4 right now. So this is good enough for me. So number 3 would be to like save about 20% of what you make to pay your taxes. You may or may not know this, that as an independent contractor, we are not taxed. That money that we make is not taxed by the government. So eventually we have to pay the tax. It's the self-employed tax. You know, if you're big on YouTube, if you're any other form of self-employed, a photographer, you do have to pay taxes on the money that you make. You do get a credit towards TurboTax Self-Employed, like the program for your computer when you do your taxes with Vipkid. That was a really nice benefit for them to do for us because all of us have to pay taxes. We're all self-employed. So it was about an extra $80. So it was more like $1,100 in taxes. So anything that you use in your class daily, like your props, your paper, your ink, your internet, those things can all be written off. You do need to be aware of what the pricing of that is and how to add it all up and put it all into your tax information. So that's something, you know, if you're not really familiar with any of that, you are gonna wanna do some like self-educating on that because I was so not prepared. Number 4, there's some debate about this. So some teachers don't prepare at all for their classes. You know, I wouldn't recommend doing that because you really would have no idea what you're walking into. And I'm the teacher that wakes up 15 minutes before class. So, you know, I usually set my alarm for like then half an hour before class and then I like snooze for 10 minutes and then, you know, I do my business and then I have a little bit of food, a little snack before I get started. And that's because I do all of my preparation before. And I do like to thumb through the slides just to see what I'm going to be dealing with. Let's go see a lesson. Let me get on my computer here. I love when I get booking requests from my favorite students. Yay! So I'll open up the class, go to the materials. So this is a level 2, like an upper level 2 class about visiting America. So this is a song where it says, I take a plane over the ocean. So I have my plane. And I have my little America here. And this isn't really that great because you can't see Hawaii and Alaska, but I just show it. I mostly use this to show that I live in Florida, or I have the little American flag. And then, oh, breakfast and lunch, cheeseburger. So I have a cookbook with little Post-its on it that I show breakfast and lunch as well. So that's one thing I do. It has like the times, like how you teach time. So I'll usually get, you know, like my TPR watch or my Apple Watch to show them. They love to see that. Eat. For feel, you know, I have little emojis. This is funny. This is scared. This is happy. And then drink. I'll always have a cup of water with me when I'm teaching. So I'll like, oh, drink. And then for phonics, ball, all. And, or all, call. So I kind of try to show what the words mean as I'm saying them. Or fall, like, oh no, fall. You just have to see what works best for you. For like big, bigger, biggest, in this slide, I would say big, bigger, biggest. So that's something, you know, you don't always have to have a prop. TPR is a huge part of teaching. And they'll get what you're saying because, you know, you have your hands here, big, bigger, biggest. I have like 5 props right here that I'll use in conjunction with TPR and hello and all of that stuff. So it's all a combination of how you use the tools that you have. You don't have to have a prop for every single slide, but you should have an idea of how you want to teach each concept. And the good thing is that there are tips for each slide. They'll kind of tell you generally like what they want you to do on each slide, but at the same time you have to read that while you're teaching, that you should kind of know what you're gonna do in that class, but you don't have to like memorize every single slide and how you want to do it. Be prepared to a point, and don't like stress out about it because it's really something that it's supposed to kind of go like minute by minute. I've taught for almost a year now, so I've definitely had repeat lessons, but I don't remember every single one. So I need to refresh myself and make sure I know what I'm doing so that I can teach them. You feel me? And then my 5th tip is, your appearance. And, while you do need to look presentable, I do not, never have, and don't plan on wearing makeup in my classes, like ever. A full face like this makeup, I would not put this on every day to teach. And the good thing, I can't believe I never knew about this, like the whole time I was teaching without makeup and without the filters on. But Vipkid does have a built-in filter that will kind of smooth your skin, but there is not one for makeup, obviously. But some teachers, they think you should wear like red lipstick so your lips, they can see your lips better, your eyes better with like eyeliner. No, that's just not something I'm gonna do. So my last tip would be to find your routine. And for me, that is, teaching about 3 hours a day or every other day. But typically I take Sunday off just to have a day to rest and sleep in. Like, I can't imagine teaching for 6 hours straight. Like, that's 12 classes. And that's a great way to make full-time money because this job does pay about $20 an hour if you do all of the incentives, and if you have 100 classes a month, then you get paid a crazy amount. But I am averaging right around 45 classes per month so that I can get the extra $1 per class and get to $18 an hour. So those are my top 5 tips for teaching with Vipkid. I know I rambled on and on and on and on and on and on, but I hope you got the gist of it. And if you're just kind of starting out and you're not really sure how to go about it, I think this will really help you. If you are a new Vipkid teacher, if you are just starting out, you can use me as a referral. And I will answer any questions that you possibly have. I'll give you all of my printouts. I'll give you everything that I have. All of the resources that I have accumulated, I will share with you. Don't be scared. Just hop right in, get your certifications, like open your booking slots and just wait for the frenzy, because it will come. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.